me, Kelly, bring you another great review, this time of the Masters of the Universe plush dolls. You knew it was going to come eventually. Comic Images has brought us these deformed plush dolls. First, I have to address the word plush. It might be a pink aisle thing, but plush normally refers to having lots of fur, super soft and squishy. Yes, these are soft and squishy, but there's not much fur on them, so I would prefer to call them stuffed toys instead of plush toys. Each of the deformed figures stands about 7 inches tall. When you put one of the Masters of the Universe figures next to it, you can see they're almost the same size, but much, much wider. All of them come with the oversized heads and small bodies. Detail work is printed on the bodies, so everything is printed. On He-Man, they did pop out his biceps a little bit and gave him a felt sword. His hair is also a felt. It is attached at the top, but as you can see, it's easily pulled up. It is sewn 3/4 of the way down the head, so it is nice and secure. And they do have some black lines to give a little detail work. Again, they're using the Filmation style instead of the classic style for He-Man. And he does have his little hang tag saying that he's Masters of the Universe. And the back of the hang tag does look like our bio cards. Even on the regular tag, we see the Masters of the Universe logo. But He-Man's not alone. Come on. He needs his faithful sidekick. And we do get Battle Cat. Battle Cat has a little bit more detail work than He-Man. First, his helmet. It is a separate piece that is sewn on, just like He-Man, and a little more secure. It's almost impossible to pull it up. The helmet is sewn all the way down on each side to the head. On the back, we just see a big loop showing us the top of what would be Battle Cat's helmet. The front, the horns are all 3-dimensional, sewn on very securely. The nose and the cheeks are popped out. The eyes are printed on in a darker red area, so it shows a little depth. The fangs and the tongue are embroidered on. And his little beard is a piece of felt. On the back, besides seeing the back of the helmet, we do have, made out of fun foam, his saddle. Fun foam is not as thin as felt, but it's just as soft. It's a little thicker, so it's a little more stable. And it is carried on through the front. They even have his tail, but all the yellow markings on the tail and on the body are printed onto the green fabric. Come on. We've got some good guys. We have to have some bad guys, right? So, of course, we get our Skeletor. Skeletor's face is printed on to a black head, and as you can see, the whole hood comes off. So if you ever wondered what was underneath that hood, you can now find out. You can turn around, put the mohawk, make him skeleton. The hood even has that little extra bit of the flap, so it gives that hoodie appearance. On the body, all the muscles are outlined in black. His armor might not show up too easy because I didn't want to take the tags off. Are done in the felt. Even his little side shoulder armor and his belt is all made out of felt. Mine's a little crooked, but that's okay. It goes with the deformed theme. But I know some collectors would be nitpicky because this was in dead center. But Skeletor needs some henchmen. And who better to have as stuffed henchmen but the two most iconic bumblers out of the Masters of the Universe, Beastman and Trapjaw. Beastman, I would call a plush. I'd give him that. His whole cowl or mane is all in reds and oranges. His face is printed on. His ears are three-dimensional, so it does come off. The top part of his face is of a softer felt that isn't printed on to give you a little bit more texture. Within the fur, and you do have to separate the fur, you do see his little emblem, which is embroidered on. Yes, it is matching the filmation directly with the blue center and the black points. No other detail to it. Underneath his fur, we do see his harness. And he does have a brown belt, the blue pants, and even on the back is the rest of his harness. On his arms, we do have little horns where the elbow pads are. And like He-Man, he does come with a sewn-on accessory. He does have his whip, which is basically a piece of string. Last of these deformed plush toys, or stuffed toys, depending on how you want to see it, is Trapjaw. His helmet is all soft. It's not made out of felt or the fun foam, but of a sturdier fabric. Does not lift up like Skeletor's hood, He-Man's hair, or even Battle Cat's helmet. This is 100%, as you can see, sewn on. It's meant for play. The front, we do have a band of pink and mauve going up the center to his little hook, more like an ornament hook, I guess one would say. On the figures, that would be just an empty hole, but on the deformed plush toys, it's a little pink tab with a black spot. His bottom jaw is of the fun foam, a double thickness of it, so it is fairly sturdy, but with lots and lots of play that could break off because it is only sewn on at the two hinges. The face is all printed on. The body, they did make his biceps a little 3D. He does have his green belt, his orange pants, as you can see on the back too. And being deformed, yes, you're going to see some of the imperfections. My belt is hanging low. And he does come with his blaster. One thing I wanted to point out, on all the figures but Battle Cat, they even stitched in fingers. Now they're not posable or anything, they're all sewn together, but they took the time to embroider each of the little fingers, so there is some dimension there. And these guys are so much fun. I mean, I've been tossing them around like crazy. I mean, who knows? That might become a new sport. See how far you can toss Beastman or Trapjaw. Got all those plushes, but not one special one? Come on. You know me by now. I've saved the best thing for last. And this plush item, and definitely not plush, brings me back to my childhood. Back in the 80s, Mattel released a bunch of dress-up outfits. I mean, you had He-Man, he came with the harness, his sword, and the shield. You had Skeletor, came with a little mini Havoc staff. She-Ra had her headpiece and belt, sword and shield. And we all ran around yelling those catchphrases, playing sword fights. And the last of the plush items that came out from Comic Images really brings me back to that time. And that's this. 30 inches in length. The Sword of Power. An adult-size version for us to go around now. In honor of Grayskull. I know, it's the Power Sword and I should be going by the power of Grayskull. Come on. This will make any She-Ra fan real happy. Especially if Comic Images goes back and makes one little correction to this area by putting in a blue gem. Why am I pointing that out? The slender form of this plush really lends itself more for the sword of protection, not the sword of power. The hilt is way too small. It should be at least double the size. But keeping price down, they went with the smaller hilt. They did not spare any of the detail, again staying true to Filmation, which is a much simpler design. Everything is printed on the sword for the full length. One thing you're going to notice if you get the sword, it is not soft at all. Except when you're turning around and maybe beating each other up on the playing sword fights. But there is a metal beam inside this to keep the blade nice and straight and sturdy that goes the full length. You can actually feel it also in the handle. And at the price, you might want to pick up a second one and add in your own gem. Are these plush items worth looking for? Yes, they are. For anyone who is a completist, naturally they're going to have it. For anyone who does cosplay, this is the perfect thing. Yeah, you're going to have to get a weapons check. But I don't think you'll have a problem getting it past, being that it's all soft, even though it's rigid. And anyone looking for something unique to add to their collections, who can pass up having He-Man, especially when you can put him on your bed? Till next time, bye.